welcome back to another episode of Lost in Cyberia. This is our last show of the year too, which is very exciting. We are your hosts, Annie Mae
and Annika.
And today we're basically just kind of summarizing the whole year that's been 2025.
And we have a balloon here as well.
Yeah.
Definitely not a another item.
A male phallic symbol.
Yes, a male appendage. It's definitely a balloon, no matter what anyone else says.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, but why do we have the balloon?
Why do we have the balloon? Yes, we have the balloon because by the time we publish this, we would have had 1,000 downloads.
Yeah, which is really exciting. And I think looking back on this year, it's been such a crazy journey because I think at the start of us starting this podcast, I think both of us just thought it would just be ourselves and maybe our mum and our dads and our closest friends listening to the podcast, but it's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
And we actually have other listeners.
We have, yes, my mom has friends as well. No, and it's been a wild ride, and it's not just Australia, it's not just like where we have family. I do want to talk about the country distribution.
Yeah, I'll quickly talk about, actually before I get into that, I quickly just want to say for anyone who is a fan of the podcast, if you haven't already, go and like the podcast on Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe to us and
tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Yeah, tell your mates.
Yes.
Tell
your colleagues.
Yeah, tell your dog.
Tell your dog.
Or your cat.
Yes, and record yourself while you do it, and
maybe your cat's really into podcasts.
Yes. That's what everyone knows about cats, actually, that they're really into podcasts.
Yeah, well, I do a lot of snapping, so I thought they've got plenty of time to do some podcast listening.
Yeah, apparently dogs have favorite TV shows or like TV show genres.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it's more related to the sound of it, but I know like Spot definitely, if
Spot.
It's like,
your dog, okay. Sorry, I was thinking of the actual dog character.
I don't know.
Show?
Yes, no idea. No, I know Spot loves like true crime and monotone music, so she's always with me, for those, and she doesn't like action movies.
So, we have listeners from 31 countries, and I think it was 70-something cities from memory. I haven't written the number down, but the top 5, so Australia obviously being number 1 by a very high percentage, followed by the United States, Israel, Colombia. Interestingly enough, we haven't had any guests from Colombia either, so I'm like, oh, well, shout out to whoever's listening to us from Colombia.
Hola.
And Czechia. So yeah, that's a very interesting mix.
Yes.
Cities, not surprising, the top ones were, and Sydney being number 1, I'm a bit dubious whether it is actually Sydney listeners or it's like people in Canberra and their Spotify thinks they're listening from Sydney.
Yes.
So, but Sydney was number 1, followed by Melbourne, followed by Canberra, Brizzy, Perth, and then the top 2 international ones, which were interesting, was Dallas.
Yay.
And then Bogota in Colombia. So shout out to our Texan listeners.
Yes.
I do know a couple of people from Texas, so I'm wondering if it's the people who I think it is.
Yeah.
If it is, that's nice. If it isn't, that's even more interesting, I guess. We don't know who they are. But yeah.
And I'm just looking at my hometown of Ashdod, Israel. And
I had a feeling that might have been where you were from.
Yeah, no, that, well, I mean, yes, somewhat from, yes, but like do better. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't even have anyone that we interviewed from Colombia, and they all know past you by numbers.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. We might have to do a whole episode in Spanish.
We might. Yeah, it will be a short episode.
Yeah, might go for 2 minutes.
But for our fans in Colombia,
¿Cómo estás?
Well, how do you say cybersecurity in Spanish? If you know.
I know computadora is computer.
Oh, that's cool. That's good. That's important. Yeah. Teléfono is a mobile phone.
Yeah, that's true. Cellular is mobile.
There you go. Oh, mobile.
Well, we're basically fluent at this point.
Probably like digital or digital.
Yeah, I feel like, but then I guess it's never safe to assume, is it?
That's right.
Yeah, I remember when I was in Mexico, I didn't know how to say ATM. and so I just assumed it was Machino Automatico. It's not. They looked at me very confused. So can safely say, don't just assume things in other languages just because other words follow a similar pattern.
No, that's yeah. I'm just wondering what they thought you meant by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, yes, machines are automatic, or I know that in French, Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you ever like speak to a French person and he asks you for the password to Wi-Fi, that's what they mean. It's Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Okay, Annika, tell us some more stats.
Some more stats. Okay. So,
what's our most listened to episode of all?
It's our first episode. Woo!
Probably not surprising, but
so it actually had more than 100 downloads by now, getting close to 120. And then it's followed very closely by our second episode, I think, as well. But we also want to have a shout out to our guest, Harry Smith. When we did the episode of
how to seduce a model.
How to seduce a model, in brackets, AI model.
Large language model.
Sorry, large, that's right, large language model. Because it got 52 downloads, which is the most of our guests. Yeah, so well done. And also, Harry Smith was our first guest.
Yeah.
So, hey, well done. And our most downloaded episode in the first 7 days was our episode that we did with Ray Goldman. And thank you so much, Pennsylvania.
Shout out to our listeners in Pennsylvania now.
Yes.
In Erie.
In Erie.
Yeah, but Erie with one E.
Yes, that's right. Yes, sending you lots of good vibes from Canberra, where it's probably much warmer right now.
Yeah, it probably would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can imagine us getting kind of cold over there now. Yeah.
So thank you so much to everyone, the guests, and also the listeners who downloaded our episodes. That's epic.
And I also want to say as well, I think for both of us, it would be really beneficial if anyone has any feedback as well on the podcast, because we obviously only started it this year. I hope we've improved. Because I actually think back to our first episode now and I'm like, am I going to cringe when I go back and listen to it now? Because I feel like we've obviously improved so much as podcast hosts, but also just I don't even remember half the stuff we spoke about now. Well, I remember we talked about mentoring and a lot of things, but I remember also that first session we split it into 3 episodes. So like we talked about so many things. We ended up having to break it up because it just went on for so long.
Yeah.
So I just thinking back to that first session, I was like, oh my god, that went for like we recorded for like 2 straight hours without a break.
Yes. I think now I have such a timer for like, okay, it's getting close to, and I feel like it's getting close to now, or we have definitely overpassed for an hour.
Yeah.
And that we know like when to cut it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like an hour is that sweet spot of, you don't want to just keep rambling on forever, because I think that you can get the crux of everything you want to talk about straight off the bat, because I think, I don't know, personally I don't mind listening to Diary of a CEO or one of the other podcasts where they're very long episodes, but I just sometimes don't have the time for 2.5-hour podcasts. Like they're so long.
It is, yeah.
But if anyone has any feedback, please either message us privately or comment on Spotify, because you can leave a comment now. I don't know if Apple Podcasts does the same thing. I feel like there is a comment feature. I'm not 100% sure. You can obviously comment on YouTube. But yeah, and also if you can do us one favor as well, maybe share your favorite episode that you've listened to this year with one other person. And that then spreads our viewership further. And it also means that we can hopefully maybe turn this into a paid thing.
Maybe. Yes, please. That would be so good. Then we can get somebody to edit our episodes and we'll have more time to record episodes.
And come up with better content ideas as well.
And sleep.
Yes. Yeah, and maybe even get bigger, not saying our guests aren't big, but like we could get even bigger people on the show that we haven't
like
even thought about yet.
And stuff.
Yeah, like sumo.
Yeah, bigger people.
Oh, like sumo wrestlers. No, I mean like physically bigger.
No, I'm joking. I'm sorry. It is a Friday afternoon.
It is. It's Friday, and we also just recorded an episode with Kirsty, so we've done a lot of talking today.
My favorite type of humor is like dad jokes. I don't know if it shows, but yeah.
Okay, but we wanted to also just jump into some questions for each other as well, because we thought it would be good, because obviously some people who like started listening to us more recently, they might not actually know that much about us, so we thought it'd be a good way for people to get to know us, but then also, yeah, just like talk about the year as well, because it's been such a hectic, crazy time, so it's good to kind of reflect and look back on all the things that we've achieved, but also, yeah, even take the time to reflect on, because I personally haven't had any time to think about all the stuff that we've done this year.
We think about what's the next thing always, but we never think about what we've
Yeah,
already done.
which is why I wanted to get this balloon, because you never forget your first 1,000 downloads.
It's a thing. It
Yeah.
should be a thing.
But also, you need to celebrate the small things,
do.
because when you get bigger, you forget about the
Yeah.
smaller achievements. So it's always good to look back.
But also, like, this is not small. And when we started, I had my fellow improviser who also runs a podcast of like mentorship and leadership, and you know, he's a coach, and he's like, well done, like you have recorded more than 5 episodes. That's where most people stop.
I think the fact that we've been consistent and
Yeah.
kept doing it, that alone is quite a big achievement.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to have you, right? Because I think like if it wasn't with someone else, like if we're doing it together, I'm accountable. It
Yeah.
would be so much harder to get organized and to like do it consistently.
After starting a podcast, I now appreciate people who run podcasts by themselves so much more, because I'm like, how do you do it? How do you just talk to yourself?
Yeah.
Because it's hard.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. And they obviously do a good job, especially the ones who've become really famous and stuff. But anyway, let's jump into the questions. Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first question, so a lot of my first questions are podcast related.
Okay.
It's kind of 2 parts to the first question. The first question is, who's been your favorite guest? And you can only name one person. And the second part to the question is, what's been your favorite solo episode, as in with just the 2 of us?
Right. Oh my God, I'm just going to offend so many people. It's controversial. This is difficult. It's difficult. I'm going to say my favorite guest was Hortense.
Oh, okay, taking it
is it-
back.
Hortense Rothery.
Yeah.
The fashion episode, from fashion to cybersecurity. We were in Sydney. There was a whole vibe. It was a hectic morning.
The whole day, the whole weekend.
Oh my God.
We were up in
It was
Sydney,
hot.
so
It was hot. It was raining.
we had to set up our own studio.
we were like moving tables. But I just like met Hortense, and I don't know, I was like very charmed by her story. And I think like what she said, there is no such thing as imposter syndrome, and we have to stop making it a thing. And I've definitely taken it on, and my work is giving me an opportunity to do a leadership course. And so I was just like talking about how there is no imposter syndrome in this leadership course to a lot of women in male dominated industries. And yeah, it's 100% true. And I just felt like I could have talked to her forever. So there you go. I'm so sorry, everybody else. I really liked you too. I guess maybe they were just like very memorable.
Yeah.
And the second half, which is the solo episode, I think it's the social engineering episode.
That's also my favorite.
Okay, great. Yeah, all right. And I was gonna ask you about like what was your favorite episode of the 2 of us. So do you want to maybe share then yours? Why is it your favorite, the social engineering one?
I think it was just really funny. And obviously it sounds a bit up myself to be like we're pretty funny, but like that episode in particular, I thought there was a lot of really funny parts in that episode. The part where we talked about that guy being lost in the wilderness, who wouldn't answer his phone to scammers. That part, the part when we're talking about Qantas, like when you wrote that message to me that was meant to be pretending to be from Qantas, saying that you'd want a free trip to the US, and then we were joking about how Qantas wouldn't even give you like a $10 food voucher, let alone a trip to the US. And Ruru mentioned this to me when we were down in CyberCon, when I mentioned that my dad used to put on a high-vis vest and go out and like cut the wood, like say if a tree had fallen over in out on the footpath or whatever, and he would go and chop up the wood and then take it home, and no one ever questioned him because he was wearing a high-vis vest. So there's that part. And then also at the end when you were talking about it was like some company who they used had tricked AI into being like, oh, it was my grandma's dying wish to know the passwords to something. I can't even remember the certificates. Yeah, and then me saying, well, like, what the fuck if it was a human? Like, you definitely wouldn't have been able to like trick. Yeah, so there was just so many like funny parts in that episode, but also like I think like social engineering as a topic as well is interesting. But yeah, that's why it's my favorite.
No, that's fair.
What about you?
Oh no, that's it.
That's exactly the place.
Yeah, it was just so vibey, like so funny. I had so much fun. I think I was very tired, and I think it was like a really big week, and a lot of things have happened. And I think I'm just like taking some Panadol because I had a headache. And I think like I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna like try to be someone else. I'm just gonna say that whatever comes into my head. And it was just so good. It was a very good, really funny episode. I'm not stealing your questions, but I also was gonna ask you about what was your favorite guest on the episode, or I guess like which of the interaction you enjoyed the most.
So I'm interested to know how many of our questions are actually the same, which would be kind of funny as well.
I think that there are a few that for me are very like your specific.
Yeah.
So
I really liked the interview we did with Rodman when he was talking about how he found his first mentor and how his mentor kind of like shut him down initially and was like, no, I don't want to mentor you. But then like came back to him later, decided he did want to mentor him, but then was hitting him with all these acronyms and stuff, and like Rodman's just like writing them down in a book. And like, I don't know, the whole story was just so funny. So like, yeah, everyone hasn't listened to the episode with Rodman. I really liked that episode, particularly for that story. Because I thought it was a really interesting story in terms of also looking for a mentor, because I've never heard of someone like just going through their corporate directory and being like, oh, who could I like cold call in here to be like, which are you looking for a mentor?
For a mentee, I'm looking to mentor someone, and the fact that like his mentor, I think they listened to the episode.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, because he ran into him a few months later at a conference or something, and he mentioned to Rod. I think because Rodman had posted that snippet, the reel on LinkedIn, and then his previous mentor follows him on LinkedIn, and then he must have seen that snippet and then had listened to the podcast. And I was like, thank God we didn't mention his name, like.
Well, yeah, I think his name was actually Frank.
Oh, wait, we did mention his name. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Oh, so we did mention
it was very Frank, okay.
Oh, that's right, yeah, because you made that joke. Oh, okay, well, never mind, take it back. Anyway, everyone knows who he is now.
Not his full name. Not just, we didn't like dox him, you know, we don't know his full name.
To be honest, I still actually don't know who he
there
is.
You go. No idea.
I mean, look, let's be honest, it wouldn't be that hard to find him on LinkedIn.
Yes, yeah. How many Franks are there really in cybersecurity? Probably.
Yeah, probably more Franks than
Buttons.
Yeah, you know, exactly.
Yes, it would be a bit harder to find.
Okay, my next question is, who would be your dream guest for the podcast?
Can I choose dead people?
Yeah, I think that's allowed.
Is that allowed?
Yeah. I didn't exclude dead people, so
you didn't say
yes.
You didn't give me any rules. So. Are we talking cybersecurity or like anyone that I could ever interview?
No, I think anyone. I feel like as long as we had a reason to have them on our podcast.
Oh, okay, we had a reason to. I think it would have been good to have Kevin Mitnick.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He recently died only a few years ago.
Oh, so... that's why I paused, because I was like, I can't remember, is he dead or alive?
He's dead. No, he's dead.
I'm not laughing about him dying, by the way.
No. Yeah. He's dead. He had an Australian wife, so...
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I think it was Rue again, or someone who mentioned to me that they know his wife.
I feel like Rue would know that, because he's really into like social engineering and psychology and stuff. Yeah.
He probably would, and I think he mentioned that he knows his wife, but I know that when we started the talk as well in Canberra, and like we read his autobiography, it would have been very interesting to ask him a lot of the questions that...
Yeah.
What was the thought that ran through your head when you won the award this year for... I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
The Women Leading Tech?
Yes,
okay, yeah. Women Leading Tech.
Yes. I was going to say Cyber Catalyst, but you were not there for it. So
no, I was actually... I landed in Singapore when I got a message from Anna saying that I had won the award because she had accepted on my behalf. Yeah, but that's a different story. But yes,
so when you were like when they announced your name, that you won the Women Leading Tech award. If you remember.
Yeah, just like my initial like emotion.
Yes.
I think I'm trying to think back now. I think it would have been excitement. I would say probably was my first emotion. Yeah, I would say excitement. Then the second one was like, crap, I need to get to the stage because I'm at the back of the room.
Yeah, I remember because you said you were like eating as well.
Yeah, I was literally in the middle of eating. They had announced the person who'd gotten the highly commended. And so when they announced that person, I thought, oh, well, there's no way I've won because I haven't got a highly commended. I don't think I'm going to win the award. And so I just had started eating my food again. And then they called out my name and I was like, literally had to drop my knife and fork. And everyone at my table obviously started clapping. And then I had to be like, oh, crap, I need to get onto the stage. And then so I had to walk from the bloody back of the room to the stage. And we were like a table 60 or something. So this was, there was like 500-600 people in this room. Like it was a massive night. So it took me like 2 minutes to get to the bloody stage because I was wearing heels as well. So I don't really wear heels that much. So I'm just like stumbling to the front of the room trying to get onto the stage. But yeah, I think like, it was excitement. I think also just almost like a bit of relief because I felt like all the hard work had kind of finally paid off. And like, I felt like I was being recognized for all the things that I had really put in. Because I think in the last few years, I had really focused on like trying to do stuff for the community. And I think like this year's been the first year where I feel like I've started doing stuff, still doing stuff for the community, but also for myself. For the last few years, it was very selfless. Yeah, I just want to do something good.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to be recognized. Sorry, I just thought to ask that because it's really interesting to hear it from your experience.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's the one thing like seeing you win it and like, reading it. Like when you send me the message, they're saying that you won, and like, and it was so insane. But it's very different sometimes when like how it feels inside.
Yeah, and I think it was nice because I gave a speech about how I had dedicated my award to my old boss. And there's a lot of toxicity in this industry, and so it was kind of the first time I had really openly talked about that, like on a public stage. Anyway, in the room with like I barely knew anyone there, right? Because apart from the table where I had people from my company, I didn't know anyone there because it was in Sydney and it was women from across all different areas of technology. So it wasn't just cybersecurity, it was women who work in technology and marketing and like comms in finance and like all these other areas. It's always nice to have like random people come up to you and be like, oh, that was such an awesome speech. And like, yeah, kick it to the man, And the man in this case was my old boss. Yeah.
Yes.
It feels like bloody ages ago now.
Yes, it does.
Okay, my next question was, this year, you and I took on this massive task of starting to make content for Instagram and YouTube and stuff. What's been your biggest learning curve in terms of making content? Because I think like so many people think about doing it and they don't know what it's actually really like.
Okay, we may have similar questions. It's hard. I knew that it was difficult. It's much more difficult than it seems. For me, it was very difficult with Instagram. I didn't use Instagram for a long time, for like a year and a half, which was very nice. I had a lot of time back, and when I came back to Instagram, I really cleaned up my Instagram from like a body image perspective and like dealing with like eating disorders and so on. And I think the hardest thing was to separate, I think, like what social media can do in terms of the harm that it can do, separate it with what we are trying to do. And what we are trying to do is reaching out to people that are not the regular audience for the government and for the cyber policies, and also to stop speaking this jargon and the language that is often spoken at us, to make it accessible, to democratize cybersecurity, to democratize information and technology, continuing to bring focus back to it. Sometimes I wouldn't look at views and things like that, because if I associate it with looks and stuff like that, then that's not what it's about. And it's always going to be a process. I think that's why I love YouTube so much more. Because YouTube is like niche kind of presentation and so on. So that was the learning curve of, you can definitely do it. What you have to say is more important than how you look.
Yeah, okay. So you would say it's more about overcoming the body image and like superficial aspect to social media. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
that's a much better. That's an eloquent representation.
Yeah, no, I
I think
get that.
because I'm
That
getting
makes sense.
emotional, so I can't really, we grew up in a similar kind of time where a lot of people were judging primarily women on how they looked to a very harsh level. And I think like when Instagram started, it was a lot about like photos of food, and then it
Yeah, people.
I like that.
I've deleted all my really old Instagram photos, but
Yeah.
I know when I go, actually, no, I think they're still in my archives. But like when I go back and look at them, it's so funny because yeah, you would literally be like, "Here's the coffee I drank this morning." It just it's a
Yeah.
weird filter. It'd be like
Yeah.
and you're like, why did we feel that? But then you look back and go, oh, it was such an innocent time.
It was such
It
an
was,
innocent time.
Like you take the shittest photo and
Yeah.
you would just post it on Instagram.
Yeah, and I had like
Yeah.
I had my like profile open, and people like from that I didn't know were like liking my food photos and like liking my silly captions, and it was never like about
and you take like a random selfie and just be
Yeah.
like, haha, me and my friends
yeah.
doing something
Yeah,
on
and
the
it was
weekend.
such a nice, like, innocent time, and then it became this like massive, like, corporate machine that is constantly trying to sell you stuff. And like, I've shown it to people, but like, if you go to my recommended Instagram, I have like 2 categories: it's weight loss and it's makeup.
Yeah, wow.
And I don't like. I have cleaned everything up. I don't like follow many, weight loss or makeup influencers.
yeah.
I primarily focus on like having funny animal videos for my Instagram. Like I was following like the fattest bear competition. Quite religious.
Fattest bear.
Yeah.
Okay,
The bear.
interesting.
Yes, because they come out of like they go into hibernation.
Oh
and
wait,
they're-
no, wouldn't they be skinny after going
no,
into
no, so
hibernation?
they're going into hibernation.
Oh,
so,
okay, gotcha.
So they're like eating a lot, and like they're so cute though. Yeah, but it's still there, and it's just like overcoming that. And obviously, like we
Yeah.
have the page of like the cybersecurity gals, and it wouldn't be like recommended because it's like very like more tech focused and creative.
Oh, I actually love our feed on that
Yeah,
Instagram.
our feed
because
is
it's so good. It's literally just like
yeah,
people making tech videos.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very like it's a very nice like palette cleanse.
It is, yeah, because I go from my personal one to
Yeah.
that. To be fair, like, I don't think my personal algorithm's too bad. Occasionally I'll get stuff that's a bit like, oh, why is this popping up? But most of the time I feel like majority of my stuff is like, I get a lot of content like buy athleisure wear because like it obviously knows like my
Yep.
feed knows I go to Pilates and yoga, so it's like targeting me with that. It's like matcha and like cats and like it's all the stuff that I actually am interested in. But it's like, well, and none of those are necessarily negative. But again, that's the thing, right? Everyone's algorithm's different, which is why we get targeted with different stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, literally, like, if you think you're not unique, you are very unique. Your algorithm is so unique to you. Like, nobody else is like you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, what's your next question?
What is your favorite part about making content, including podcasting and Instagram and YouTube and so on? And what is your least favorite part?
Favorite part, I think, is I'm a very creative person, so I love the creative process of it. I love coming up with content ideas and thinking about how can I execute this, whether it's video format or podcasts as well. And I just like doing something that's different to my day job. It gives me like a good relief of escapism from what I do at work. Least favorite would probably least favorite. I think it would probably go back to what like similar to what you were saying about the kind of like toxic aspect of social media. I think it's just because we've had to be on social media so much this year because of going to post stuff, and then also if someone shares something that we've done, then we then reshared like commenting and posting and all that kind of stuff, and also including LinkedIn as well. So I think the amount of time that I'm spending on social media, that's probably the thing I like the least.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ironic because it's like what I need to use to post the creative stuff that I'm coming up with. Yeah. It's like a chicken and egg situation.
Yeah. Gotta be in it to be in it.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's very succinct. Well done.
Yeah. Okay, my next question. What is your favorite podcast to listen to? That's not ours.
Oh my god. All right. So I have ADHD, okay, in my defense. So I've listened to a lot of podcasts in my lifetime. my favorite 5 years ago that I listened to religiously, I probably listened to like most of it, was True Crime Case Files. That's the name. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it.
Okay.
He's an Australian guy, and he is completely anonymous. So he never like I think shows his face and stuff. I think he now does like a radio show actually. And yeah, he takes a lot of like true crime episodes, and he has this really interesting voice and just a very good like music editing it. And he just creates such an atmosphere of like, whoa, I love it. It's really good. And I think I kind of like stopped listening to that podcast after I moved to Canberra. And I think like one of the reasons I wanted to get into cyber is because of the episodes that he covered about Silk Road.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I was just so fascinated by it. And
what is Silk Road for people?
Sorry, yes. So Silk Road. So he was actually pardoned, I think, this year by Trump. And I don't know why his name is escaping me, but essentially it's
yeah,
about.
I think you're right. I think I do remember reading
he
about
was
that
pardoned,
too. Yeah.
by Trump. So it was about. It's a libertarian guy who was like in IT. And he decided to essentially start a dark web website or dark web platform where people could buy drugs and then other things. So he started with drugs. People bought drugs online via the Silk Road. That was what it's called, like Silk Road, I think, .onion. And then he would actually send people the drugs like to their addresses, like in a sealed envelope, so people wouldn't know what it was. And became so popular, like it completely blew up. I think it was about more than 10 years ago, like 15 years ago now, or maybe something like that.
Yeah,
maybe even more. A while
yeah.
ago now. But essentially, yeah, I guess like started like this particular, the dark web of like where you buy things online. I think it kind of started with Silk Road being so massive. And it's just fascinating because there is a whole story of how the FBI were trying to catch him, but actually like one of the, I think the police officers that went undercover was corrupt. And so he was like trying to get like benefits from the Silk Road, and there was like a faked death. It's like, it's amazing. It's a crazy story. But the way that they caught him, right? So they needed to catch him in action because they couldn't unlock his computer. Sorry, I'm doing it for the listeners online. I'm doing a demonstration. Sorry. Yeah, I have ADHD, so please forgive me for going off topic. But yeah, they needed him in action, so they needed him to be in front of his computer. So they figured out which cafe he was in.
Oh.
So they actually figured out what his address, because there was like this guy who actually figured it out 3 years before they did. And he kept telling it to them, like from the FBI, because he was just like, he would have had to like use his email address when he was like looking for people, I think, or setting something up or answering questions. And that's how he found his email address, and then he found the rest of the information about him. And so they finally listened to the guy who was talking about it all along. They found him in an internet cafe, and they ambushed him. And then they took his laptop, and they had to keep it alive while they were taking him, to the holding cell and everything else. Like, they had to keep it open to get all the evidence.
Oh, wow. Okay. What's that episode called? If anyone wants to listen to it. We can put it in the show notes.
I'll put it in the show notes. But yeah, since then, I kind of listened to probably just like the Diary of the CEO. And I listened to more YouTubers.
Okay. Yep.
But yeah, so I'm a big fan of Dr. K, who is also called the Healthy Gamer. His audience is primarily men, but he is a psychotherapist. And he is also he's done like 7 years of like I think monk training.
Okay.
So he takes like so but otherwise I am not a very loyal fan, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I jump in between things. I like Philosophy Tube. I would listen to her episode when they come out. But otherwise, yeah, all over the place. Yes, I know you listen to so many more podcasts than me. So,
yeah, I do. Yeah. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
You probably would like answer this question much better.
I don't know, because I'm going to pick one favourite podcast. That would be a really hard question for me.
Okay.
What was your next question?
Well, who is your favorite cybersecurity Instagram kind of like content creator?
Oh, like influencer?
Yes,
type
influencers.
person?
Let's say podcast, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, whichever like.
Also, like across any medium.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's a good question. She's not necessarily cyber, but I do really like Tiff In Tech. She's a Canadian woman who lives in the US, I think, but she basically just makes really good videos that are like easy to understand. I think I like her videos because she often deep dives into things you wouldn't even think about. Like you'd be like, how did the internet start? Or
Yeah.
you know,
Good topic.
where did this start? Like why did this become a thing? Or like it would be like something you've never even thought about and go, oh, that's actually really cool. I feel like I really relate to people who come across as very friendly and very engaging, and she clearly is very not only smart but obviously very passionate about technology. She's interviewed like Mark Zuckerberg, and she's interviewed people from the Apple security team and people who are very intelligent. And also she has some more long form videos on YouTube which I've also watched that are really cool. Oh, she also interviewed Jensen, the CEO of Nvidia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there you go. We'll definitely link Tiff In Tech.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, my next question is, what's something you only realized about yourself this year?
Wow.
I know this is a bit more of a deeper question.
I think I realized that I was more engaging than I thought I was. So like
Okay,
people.
what do you mean by engaging?
Yeah.
Like engaging with other people, or
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe engaging is not the right word for it, but I've noticed it a lot this year. Well, I do improv, and I obviously. I did Toastmasters before I did improv, and I used to perform a lot, but it's mostly like, you're singing, dancing. So not really like talking or, acting or anything like this. And I think what I've noticed this year, especially like going to events and conferences and even at work, because like it's been a massive year at work as well, is that people stop and they listen to me. Not always. Especially online, it can be very hard sometimes. The worst thing is when you're online and you are like a person and the rest of them are in a room, because then they just start talking between each other.
Oh yeah. So this is why you sometimes do have to go into the office.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It won't help in my case.
Yeah, there's nothing worse when you're sitting there in a meeting and you're online and everyone else is just chatting in the room and you're like,
you like raise your hand or you need to like hand thing and nobody notices.
Yeah, exactly. Like shit, should have just gone into the office.
Yeah, I think, but I've noticed it this year, and I have this like complex that I have a lot of thoughts and I do a lot of research and I know a lot of random stuff, like a lot of random facts. And I always have this, I think, complex, perhaps a mental block for myself that I implanted in my head. Maybe someone told me, it doesn't matter. But I internalized it, that I cannot be articulate, that I cannot be engaging, that people losing me mid-sentence, that it won't be interesting to anyone. So it's not like imposter syndrome, because that's a bit different. Like I know I'm competent, I know stuff. It's just that I have a trouble, I think, communicating it and keeping that engagement in.
Okay.
And this is why I use the word engaging. I think that's what I realized about myself this year. And I was like, okay, maybe I should give myself a little bit more credit.
Yeah.
Because
I think everyone should. Give themselves a bit more credit.
Absolutely. Because it's not just about the words that you say.
Actually, I'll take it back now. Not everyone should give themselves more credit. But you definitely should.
Oh, thank you.
But then I was just like suddenly started thinking about other people. I'm like, maybe not everybody.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
It's so much more than just the words you say. It's also how you engage, your body language, your tone, and it's so important.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, that's a good one. Yeah.
I'm changing some of my questions, on the go, because I'm like,
this is unfair because mine are written down.
Well, exactly. This is perfect, actually. Okay. No, but this way we can keep it, engaging.
Yeah.
And also, like, anyway, sorry. Mine are like, anyway, sorry. What is an unexpected benefit in your life, in any area of your life, that you got out of podcasting and content creation?
Oh, unexpected benefit.
Yes. It could be like personal growth, or it could be actual like material benefit. Yeah.
I think because I'm such a like extroverted person, I think definitely for me it's just been getting to know people more. And I think because I thrive off social interaction. So for me it's definitely been, even though this is obviously something I've been doing for a long time, but I think we were talking about this recently, was the fact that I feel like it's been really fun to stay in contact with a lot of people that have either been guests on the podcast or we've somehow had some kind of interaction because of the podcast. Yeah, I think it also makes for a really interesting conversation starter. So a lot of people who I run into, they'll be like, oh, how's your podcast going? You know, and like then I can start talking about that. I think the thing that I've found surprising is that people are genuinely interested in what other people are doing, right? And so they're like, yeah. And I think like especially even I've spoken to other people who are thinking about maybe starting a podcast themselves, and then they're asking me for advice and being like, oh, what's the process been like for you? And so that's been really interesting too, because then I can share insights to like how we've done certain things and then provide them with things they might not have thought about. Yeah, it's kind of funny because like obviously I definitely did have some level of anxiety before starting the podcast, because like, again, I was like, oh, what are people going to think? Or like, you know, all this crap that you put into your own head. The nice thing that's come out of it is that a lot of people are very positive about it, and that's been really nice. So I think it's just, yeah, just like being able to talk to people about it has been really fun. Yeah. Okay, my next one's a good one. Two parts to this as well. What's the most annoying thing about me, and what's the best thing about me?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus. And, sorry. No, it's a good question. This is really petty. I am so sorry.
Okay.
I think it's like the fact that we use like different platforms for our content, like, you know, content creation keeping. Because I'm like keeping
things,
like
Notion.
Yes, and like you want to use Canva, and like you clearly want to use Canva. Like I get it, and you like it much better. And I clearly want to use Notion. And yeah,
you're right. We
so
probably should talk about that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. But this is like, I'm sorry, this is like the pettiest thing, right?
No, I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
that's a pretty reasonable thing. Yeah.
This is the worst, right?
Yeah, that's really not that bad.
Because I'm just like okay, like yeah, we can keep it in two different locations.
No, there's like 100 things worse you could have said. You're like, your voice is really annoying.
No.
Can you imagine we're doing a podcast together? Your voice sucks.
Yeah, that would be a deal breaker. I think, oh my god. I hope you don't hate my voice.
No, not at all. Don't worry, I wouldn't have asked you to do a podcast with me if I couldn't stand your voice.
That's good. No, I love your voice. But it's not like what I guess like admire the most about you. I think what I admire the most about you is your tenacity and your energy. And it's something maybe that I lack in myself sometimes. And then it's not that you physically pick me up, but you pick me up energetically.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
And like sometimes you'll be like, okay, and you tell me everything that you've done in a week. And I know that I do like a lot, but like
yeah, you do.
But yeah, like, you know, it's different because you're like, and I also like, and then I went to Pilates and I saw this friend and I saw that, and I kept all of my social connection, and I was like, wow, I can't do this because it requires so much energy. And like I would love to do this. You will get so much money by running a workshop on how to set personal boundaries and how to not care about what people think.
It's funny you mentioned that. Actually, I literally had a friend text me the other day about quitting her job, right?
Yeah.
And she said, I have to give 2 months notice. And I said to her, I was like, girl, everything in life is negotiable.
That's
including
right.
your, and I said to her, I was like, I left my last job with 0 notice.
Yeah.
And she said, what do you mean? Like, how did you do that? And I said, well, I wrote an email and I sent it off.
Yeah.
And I thought about it afterwards, and then she's like, oh, you know what? You've really given me the motivation to give them 1 month's notice, and I'm going to put my foot down and I'm going to tell them I'm not coming back after Christmas. And I was like, good. I was like, yeah, do that. And because I was like, what are you going to do? You've already resigned. They can't force you to come back. But I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, like I realize especially when I talk to other women, they don't know a lot of these things because they've never tested the boundaries, right, of like what their relationship is with their workplace. Or I think like because I've had certain bad experiences that I'm very strongly about keeping my boundaries now, because that is like how I keep my mental health in check, and that's how I function as a person.
Yes,
so
right.
I know what I'll end up like if I don't have those boundaries. So for me, it's like really important. So yeah, I think we were saying before about I should run a workshop. I think you're right.
You will like, oh my god. It's very rare, and I said it to you in the first session we had. I don't know if it was the first episode. It was the first session we had, and I said like I'm getting there in terms of like not people pleasing and so on. But you're like, I never had this, you know.
Yeah.
You said, like I never had this, and what I really admire about it is that you keep your life in like all of your life areas then get attention.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So like you're watering all of the plants in your life
Yeah.
rather than putting all of your attention to like one thing, you know, because like I'll do it a lot and I'll be like, oh, like I'm getting everything like into work, I'm putting everything into study, so I'm like neglecting my health, so like I'm not seeing the people that I need to see. And it's so hard to juggle those walls, right? But like you put such clear boundaries, and then you have that tenacity to like hold on to them as well, like hold them up, and have that energy to like advocate for yourself as well. Maybe that energy comes from being able to set boundaries. I'm not sure. But you have a lot of energy and like the tenacity to like no means no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a great trait.
I like to think that especially when it comes to career and stuff, like I think I think more like a man, which I think helps because, but also because I look at all these guys and I go, well, if they can do that and they can say F off to their boss, I'm like, why can't I do that? There's literally nothing stopping me from doing the exact same thing. And I think that because it's also from experience too, right? Because if you do it once and you say, no, I'm leaving this job today. I'm not coming back because you've treated me like shit.
Yep.
And I'm not going to get treated like shit. And when you do that once and there was no repercussion, well, then you go, okay, well, I could do that again then. I'm not saying you should just go and quit your job and tell your boss to F off every job. But
no.
I think it's more just about, like, how are you willing to let other people treat you? And, like, to me, I always just think if you allow other people to treat you terribly, then you're basically saying to them, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. Treat me like shit. And I'm like, no, I know I have more self-respect to let other people do that to me. And that's obviously taken time. It obviously didn't happen overnight. It's taken years for me to get to that point. But it's, doing those little things to get to the point where you feel comfortable enough to do that. And maybe I should run a workshop on this.
You should. We can all use this advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know so many, like you say, like, you know, think like a man, act like a man. I know so many men who
I don't act like a man though. I think like a man, but I don't act like a man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I do anyway.
No, I don't think I do.
Yeah.
It's
but it's about having the mentality of that, but still, and I think that's a thing, right? Like, I've never been the kind of person to try and fit in with the boys and try and be one of the boys. I don't want to be one of the boys. I'm a woman. Like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. I'm not saying that I can't relate to men and I don't have male friends, but
you do.
Yeah, exactly. But like, you know, I don't go to work trying to dress like them and trying to emulate them. Like, I'm my own person and I want to dress how I want to dress, which is more feminine. And like, that's how I feel comfortable doing that. And like, I don't think men have ever had an issue with me wanting to appear more feminine. And I think like, it's just like everyone needs to do what they feel comfortable with. Yeah. Okay, anyway, back to the question. It's a really long answer. Did I ask you the question or you asked me? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. If you could go back in time, like a year ago, and throughout this journey, what would be the one thing you would have done differently?
Done differently? Or
changed, or
That's a good question, because I'm not usually one of those people who looks back with any kind of regret or wishing I had done things differently, because I just go, well, it's too late now anyway, isn't it? That already happened.
Same. And that's like, for me, I would really struggle with this.
I don't think I would change anything. I'm pretty happy with the last 12 months. So I mean, I'm not saying that there weren't any lowlights, but I mean, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything I would change. We'll just keep it as it is.
Okay, good.
My next one. Okay, what's given you strength to get through the tough times this year?
My ADHD medication.
Okay, good answer.
I'm not joking.
You only went on them this year too, right? For the first time? Or have you been on them since last year?
What year are we?
2025.
No, I think I've started like 20. God, it can't be 2. Jesus.
I love how quickly you answered that.
It's true. I would sleep so much if I... Like, whoever takes ADHD meds, like, you take them, and if you take like what I take, it takes about an hour and a half in the morning for them to kick in. And then I cannot like stay sleeping. I cannot stay in bed. Like, I get up, I do things. I became like a morning person because of that. I never used to be a morning person. I love the night. I love being out in the night. I'm like, everything is so beautiful and amazing. And look at the stars, and it's so quiet. And I can like hear the, like I don't care about the whole like don't walk at night alone. I usually take my dog anyway, but like,
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm like reclaiming the night because the night is so beautiful.
Yeah.
You have the best thoughts, and I have
No,
like.
I think that going for a nighttime walk is great. Yeah.
It's so good.
I don't think I actually, to be honest, I don't like walking around Canberra at night because it's kind
No,
of creepy
it's
and
very
and
dark.
and it's silent. Like there's no one around.
That's what I love.
No, I
I
like.
liked COVID so much.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, I prefer like if I'm gonna go for a walk at night by myself, I prefer to say be in a really big city and just being able to look at all the cool stuff. Like I love walking around Paris at night. Like it's just such a magical city at nighttime. There's so many things to see and like interesting buildings and like yeah, I like getting lost in like a big city at night. I think
Yeah.
that's really fun.
Yeah, I like Canberra because you can see the stars.
That is true. Canberra does have its perks in terms of
Yeah.
not having much night. Sorry, what's the word? Air pollution? No, night
Light-
pollution.
light
Light
pollution.
pollution. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah.
That's the first thing I noticed about Canberra, and it was like love at the first sight. And I was like, the stars in the middle of Dixon, what? Like a suburb in Canberra.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like no, in all seriousness, it was really helpful. I think it's more than almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 2 years, I guess. Like next, yeah.
Unfortunately, my phone died during our last session, and because we'd just done a podcast interview just prior to us recording, so my phone died into the last session. So we're just going to re-record the very last bit just to wrap up the podcast today. All right, so Annika, if you could describe 2025 in 3 words, what would they be, and what do you hope 2026 to be in 3 words?
Oh wow. Okay. So 2025 was hectic. It was exploratory and amazing. And wishing for 2026, I think I want it to be peaceful. Both like I guess from like I don't want anything to happen. I just want to be in peace with everything that's happening.
Yeah.
So like have warmth, like human connections, not necessarily climate change. Yeah. So like warm connections and good personal relationships and yeah, so warm and passionate. Passionate. Yeah, follow my passion. Have meeting people that are passionate about what they do and learning and having like so being inspired by them. Yeah. Peaceful, warm, and passionate.
Okay, cool.
Like a nice moth in Florida somewhere. Yeah, I don't know if Florida has moth. I should check that. All right. So okay, anyway, I'm gonna go and ask you the same question back because then we can go and compare our notes in 2026 and see how we did.
Yeah.
So if you could describe 2025 in 3 words and 3 words for you to wish for 2026.
Yeah, it's funny because when the first time we recorded this, I'm pretty sure I gave different words, but now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like the first one that came to mind was actually successful. It has been a really successful year, I think, for me. I've achieved probably more than most people do in like their entire career, to be honest. So I'm like, if I could retire now, I probably would. But I probably can't because I probably wouldn't have enough money to sustain myself the rest of my life. But such is life.
If anyone's listening to this podcast, you know where we are. You can send us money so we can retire. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll set up a GoFundMe page or like a Patreon page. Yeah, maybe Patreon would make more sense. We're doing like creative
retirement fund.
Yeah, heli retirement fire. Is it the fire movement?
Yeah.
Yeah, it stands for it's like a financial movement where like it stands for
independence.
Yeah, retire early. I know the RE is retire early,
Mhm.
and then it's just basically about like investing when
Yeah.
you're younger and then being able to retire early. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. I think my second word would be creative, because I think all the stuff that we've done as well has really, yeah, like being able to start a podcast and start the Instagram page and stuff has really, and also doing writing and stuff, even though we've been writing articles for Aspie that are real things, it's not fictional, but it's still something that I hadn't done for quite a while, which was like writing an actual article for a publication. Oh, actually, no, that's a lie. I did write a few articles in the last couple of years for the Australian Women in Security magazine, but yeah, so, but I think I maybe only did like one a year or something. Creative would be my second one, and maybe third, yeah, maybe just adventurous as well, because I think that does play into starting the podcast was something that was quite a big task to take on, and it was something that I had thought about doing for a while, but I was a bit scared to finally, to actually kick it off. And I think, yeah, for anyone who's listening who has been thinking about doing something, maybe they're scared about what other people will think of them. Yeah, my advice is just start it, because the worst thing that can happen is people always think that people are really judgmental of them, but most people are actually quite supportive, and they're actually, when oftentimes I've had conversations with people and they're like, oh, I've been thinking about doing that too, or like doing something similar, and then but most
Mhm.
never actually start. So the starting part's the hardest.
A lot of times people are judgmental, right? Because their fear is that they cannot do it, basically. And so it comes from a place of fear and insecurity that they don't have the courage to do it. And so they do want to do it, they just can't. Or like they can, but they don't have, I guess, like the bravery. But the fact like courage is just like that, 1 second in your brain where your brain isn't scared, use it and just start it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So those would be my three for 2026. I would say, I think I also said peaceful, from the perspective of world peace, but also peace and, yeah, like you said, like just people get very stressed and anxious a lot. And I think it's just nice to put everything in perspective. Like our lives aren't that hard. There's like people who actually struggle to make enough money to feed their family and get clean drinking water. So our lives actually aren't that hard. Like I think people need to really think about that more often. But also, yeah, and like obviously there's a lot of bad things happening in the world, and things are escalating in terms of like even what we're seeing from a cyber perspective as well. I think people just need to be a bit nicer to each other as well, and
Mhm.
have a bit more empathy. But yeah, so that'd be, yeah, peaceful, fun. Yeah, I want 2026 to be fun. Whether that's through travel or, yeah, just doing stuff with friends. I've always been the kind of person who very rarely says no to things. So not from like a work perspective, but not from a social perspective. If someone wants to do something, they're like, hey, I want to go to this festival. Like, I've had friends in the past have been like, hey, I want to go see this artist in Brisbane or whatever, and like no one wants to come with me. I'll be like, okay, like I don't even know who this person is, but sure, I'll come. I'm like, yeah, excuse go to Brisbane. Yeah, so yeah, probably fun, and then probably also just what's the word? I'm trying to think of like a word that's just one word, because I'm trying to think, like the thing that's coming to mind is like giving back, but I think it's more about like I've had a few friends that have gone on kind of corporate gap years this year, and one of my friends in particular, she lived in Sydney, and she was very passionate about like helping animals, like especially rescue dogs, because she had a greyhound previously. And just like seeing her traveling and going to all these like places overseas where she is helping animal rescues, and she's doing that as part of her like time off, but she clearly really enjoys it. And I think like a lot of people our age, we really struggle with finding purpose in our 9 to 5 jobs and needing to find that elsewhere, I think, is quite common, because we're at the age where we've worked our way into jobs where we actually are now getting paid fairly well and stuff, but the corporate life is just really draining and it doesn't give us any purpose. So I think, it's about finding ways to you don't necessarily have to have purpose at work, which I think is a lie we've all been sold. We don't have to find a purpose at work. If you have a job that pays you enough to find your passion outside of work, I think that's also fine. We've just been told that if you find a job that you like, you'll never work a day in your life, and that's just like a lie.
Yeah. So I guess like the word, is it purposeful?
Yeah, I think like because like even just the fact that we did talks on scam compound people who've been
Yeah.
human trafficked into scam compounds, and I've been thinking about like, hey, are there like NGOs that I could go and do some work for overseas, like in Thailand or something, where I feel like I could actually help, not just
Yeah.
like talking's one thing, but actually doing something is another. And I think that it's
Mhm.
pretty easy to talk. It's a lot harder to actually do it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes even talking can be difficult. It can be difficult to, first of all, like even get a talking opportunity and then be brave enough to discuss difficult topics, to raise difficult conversations. But yes, I think like the next step is to contribute and to give back and to actually do something about it. Yeah, that's a really good one. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's true though. Like about Brett talking about hard topics. Because I actually did have quite a bit of anxiety before I did my Osaka talk because I was talking about Uyghurs locked up in Xinjiang province in China, and the Chinese government has gotten away with this for such a long time now, and the world continues to ignore it. Because other people just consider other things more of an issue. And it's like, okay, let's just pretend that this isn't happening, like this genocide. Uh, let's just ignore it. So yeah, but it is. And like the thing that really surprised me was when I asked the audience, like, who's heard about this? Like, who knows what's going on in Xinjiang? And like, 2 people or like 4 people put their hands up in a room of like 60 people. And these are well-educated, professionals who work in various areas like cybersecurity or audit and fields like that. And it's like, well, if these people don't even know, how is like no wonder the general public doesn't. Well, just like people who um maybe are less educated or just don't really read the news or whatever. And it's like, yeah, like it's kind of like it shocks me because like when it was happening, when it was quite widely reported in the media, like when I was at uni, even then barely anyone knew about it. so
yeah. I mean,
so
we've seen it with like the Ukraine war that was heavily publicized in the first year of the war, and then now it's the fourth year, and the war is still going on, and you barely see it on the news, especially I think in the last year.
mm,
Yeah, and it is a phenomenon like with media and crime that people consume media that feels closer to them. So it could be location closer, it could be also culturally closer. So that's why Australians, for example, consume a lot of like UK news or the US news. And then when it comes to other countries, it's just less, I guess, appealing to them. And it's
I
extremely
think
sad.
it's also just like the repetition, right? It's like
Mhm.
when the war first started, obviously it was just shocking because it was we were hearing all these reports about what was happening. But then after say 6 to 12 months, then it was like, okay, how can you report on this in a way that's different? And then obviously other things can't start to compete in terms of like the news cycle. So yeah, in terms of that, from like a media perspective, it like kind of makes sense why it started to die off. I'm obviously not saying that's a good thing, but it kind of people get sick of reading about the same thing, right? Like, and unfortunately, that's just the reality.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not as like sensational, it doesn't, I guess, have a lot of new things to discuss. War is pretty, I guess, mundane. But even like with the cyber scam compounds, I have seen an article recently. I was going to send it to you. I keep forgetting. It was about the Myanmar scam compounds being bombed, and the title was that it's barely going to make a dent to the industry. And I was like, oh my God, yes, this is exactly what like our talk was about.
Yeah.
And thinking, maybe, yes, like we have a very small circle of influence, but, and so there's like some people have maybe a little bit more, and maybe ours is much more than some other people as well. But you just need to have like one person that will take it on and will take it on and take it on. And that's the purpose, right? Of even talking about it. That's how much it means sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay, well, given this has already been quite a long episode, let's wrap this up. So thank you everyone who has listened to Lost in Cyberia this year. We are officially one, which is kind of crazy. I think we mentioned this at the start of the episode but now because we're recording on a different day, I've forgotten what we've said. But yeah, anyway, we hope everyone has a good Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it is that you celebrate at this time of the year. So yeah.
Mandatory shutdowns at work.
What's that?
Mandatory shutdowns at work.
Oh, I thought you said like I thought you were talking about the school shutdowns, like in
Canberra. Oh my God, in Canberra. Well, that will be quite a time capsule if I'd be able to go back to that.
I know. Remember the asbestos thing?
Then COVID, 60 schools shut down. Oh God. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. We will catch you next time, and we hope you don't get hacked this holiday season.
Yeah, we'll catch you next year.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
I was about to leave the call, and I realized we can just stop recording.